if you are leading by example and showing that you're putting in more work than other people, they will naturally gravitate towards that. I don't really think there's anyone that doesn't want to be led. I think it's more about the sense of respect. I feel like that's what respect really is. It's just people gravitating towards you in a way that is like they almost look up to you. And the only way to do that is, I think, work ethic and having a strong work ethic.
There you go.
Competitors kind of, yeah, they do have a part of them that want to be led. Some are more stubborn than others, obviously. But for FNS, there's some people that just have that kind of magnetic personality where no matter what room you're in, people kind of maybe gravitate towards you, or maybe you just tend to have the loudest voice in the room, even if you're not wanting to or trying to.
It wasn't something that I would say came naturally, but over time it sort of did, in that I felt like I was going to do the job better than some of the in-game leaders I had throughout my career, and I just kind of drifted towards that point, and then once that happened, I kind of just stuck with it and realized it's something I want to do and I really enjoy.
It's not easy to get 4 or 5 people to all believe in one idea or one vision of how the game can be won, or one vision of how the team should operate. It's a near impossible task unless you have that strong leader.
You don't want to listen to 5 ideas at once, so everyone would listen to my ideas because I was the person that took over that role in general. It's a role that I've been playing since Counter-Strike 1.6. And so it's just everybody putting their faith in me and my idea of how to play the game. When others designate you that role, that's when you kind of realize it's like, oh, okay, like I feel like I could do this job pretty well.
No matter what, from the beginning of CSGO in 2012, he's always had a group of guys that he was able to lead to become actually relevant in the top North American CSGO scene.
And as some of his teammates from that era have stepped away, FNS has always been around, still grinding and still trying to make it work. The amount of times FNS has been on a team and had to go dip down to inexperienced rookie players and try and elevate them to a new level, and then something happens, it crumbles, and he's got to start all over. The amount of times I've seen him do that, it's hard to not have respect for someone who's gone through that grind so many times.
It's nicer to be older, because then you're looked at as the more mature one and stuff like that. But in general, the roles are pretty much set, like, oh, this dude is the entry fragger, oh, this guy's the young gun, this guy's the veteran, stuff like that. It's more so keeping that consistency up as a leader and kind of not drifting away from that role, because once you start to show a lack of leadership or a lack of work ethic, then people start to respect you a lot less.
FNS is known in the Counter-Strike scene as the chess master, the 4D chess master. If you're a conspiracy theorist watching this, you can go down the FNS rabbit hole.
I don't know how this meme started, but it's a good one.
He had this weird knack where every time he got into some kind of an adversarial interaction with an opponent, their team would die, or their team would have to use a stand-in for an event, and then they'd be going up against FNS, and FNS would be able to beat them because they're using a stand-in, or because the team is just shattered, or for whatever reason. But it happened so many times. There
is like a whole Reddit page, which I find absolutely hilarious about it, because people will find crazy theories and just throw them back at me.
No matter what, somehow, someway, somebody's able to connect FNS to it, and then all of a sudden FNS is kind of the mastermind behind everything.
You almost have to believe that he's got some weird master plan somewhere, like a corkboard in his bedroom with all the different threads connected, so he can pull in any one of them and make something happen on the other side.
It goes so deep, actually. We started having to look at even everyday objects like the dollar bill.
What's this? FNS was there the whole time. He was the one behind the Illuminati.
It all makes sense.
It's all coming together.
It's all coming together.
Things are getting a little bit crazy right now as FNS finds 3, make it 4!
I think the CSGO community is going to be so sorry that he left.
What made me make the switch was basically just how fun the game actually was and how much variety it was in the game. For example, there's so much stuff as an in-game leader that you have to account for in this game that you didn't have to in Counter-Strike. Like different abilities that can come at you at any moment. Somebody gets a kill and all of a sudden they have an ultimate that you hadn't even taken account of at the start of the round.
When you go to a new game, you're going to have a ton of different input, not only not only from people who see the game differently, but people who come from games like Overwatch, people who come from Counter-Strike, people who come from Call of Duty. All of these different players from different games have different ways of thinking about it because their kind of original home game, different styles work. And I think that quality of being able to listen to all those different inputs and be able to adapt is going to be critical. And I think that's what's going to make FNS extremely valuable.
We're not a team to be underestimated, although I think we've already proven that to some extent. These next 6 months to a year is just going to be a development period for the game. So we just want to develop with the game, kind of see where that takes us. It's been a while since I've had a control of a roster to this extent, and that's like a really good feeling in that I know whatever I say will go, and that as egotistical as that sounds, it's going to help me a lot as a leader to figure out what the best style of play is, because I will get to experiment with a lot of stuff, and I know that these guys have a lot of faith in me. It's just about getting everybody on the same page, playing as many tournaments as possible, and basically just make sure everybody gets a ton of experience under their belt, so when we play these bigger events, people don't choke, people don't, I guess, just freeze up in the moment and stuff like that. So right now, our job is just to get as good as we can.